The weather, the sun, the clouds, the rain, the heat, the cold, the snow. The weather and the climate is one of the biggest factors of choosing where to live. For me, as a person who made it a life goal in my middle ages to move from New Jersey to Florida, one of the biggest reasons was because of the weather. I didn't want to experience winters. I didn't like the snow. I didn't like the cold. I didn't like the fall. I didn't like the spring. I like endless hot summers. But I also like humidity. I like moisture. Because in America, I could have also moved to Arizona, California, New Mexico. All those areas are great, no disrespect. But for me, they're dry. So even California may have a lot of sun, but it's dry and it's not tropical. There's a difference between a tropical environment and a dry, low humidity environment. It may be subtle differences that most people can't notice, but I notice. And everyone, based on their physical DNA or chemistry makeup, they're going to adapt and like different types of weather. So even though I love Florida with a passion, there's some people, maybe if they have asthma, maybe if they have a certain skin complexion that doesn't do well with a lot of sunlight, they wouldn't thrive in an environment like Florida. Maybe they would be better in Idaho. So part of it is individual. Okay, choosing where to live based on the weather is something that you have to seek out on your own. Okay, we all have our own fingerprint. Your fingerprint is different than your parents. It's different than anyone else in this world. But many times we grow up in an environment, in a state, in a location based on where our parents decide to raise their children. But your parents are different than you. You have a different fingerprint. So as an adult, once you become of age and you start to figure out your life and you're on your journey, I think a huge part is identifying the weather, the climate, the culture, the environment that you grow best in. Just like a flower, just like animals, they do better in certain environments. Environments matter. Climate matters. Weather matters. Okay. I believe in your physical and your mental health. Weather, the climate, and who you are individual. There's no one answer for everyone. But I do believe in a level of sunshine. Our bodies need sunshine. Vitamin D, and there's something just therapeutic for the mind, body, and soul to have sunshine. Some people need more than others. But if the sunshine was taken away from you from a long enough period of time, it would affect your mood, it would affect your health. It's pretty much science. I mean, not that everyone needs to live in Florida or in an abundance of sunshine state, but you need a certain level of sunshine. So for me, I need a lot to keep in a good place. You can survive just about anywhere. I mean, there's a difference in life between surviving and thriving. Once you become an adult, you start to make decisions to position your life to thrive, not just survive. You know, I could have died in New Jersey. I could have lived my whole life in New Jersey. I would have I would have survived. I would have adapted. You know, I could have lived in Idaho or whatever. I wouldn't want to, but I would do what I have to do. But if you have a choice, you should choose to do what you want to do, what you thrive in. Now, there's other factors in choosing where you live, okay? Infrastructure, the ability to make an income, culture. There's a variety of different factors that are, again, going to come down to a lot of individual choices based on your personality that you have to consider. So I don't want to say weather is the only one. But I do want to say, especially for me and someone who moved from New Jersey to Florida, and I traveled up and down the East Coast, and I researched other areas on the West Coast of Florida, and even inland, even though I always wanted to be by the ocean. And I studied the average temperature, the average sunshine exposure, the culture, the vibe, and I did some traveling. And I just found my sweet spot through research, through traveling, and through being willing to make decisions to permanently end ties with the state I grew up in. Leaving the state you grew up in or the location you grew up in is going to mean severing relationships with friends and family and coworkers. And you will permanently leave them behind, even though you may see them on vacations. And that's good. Because as an individual, someone with your own fingerprint, you are not created to live next to your parents or live up the street from your parents just because. You will survive, but you won't thrive. And there's nothing worse than resentment. And resentment comes when you live a life of survival, not thrival. And so I want to encourage you to seek out your own individual weather and climate and the atmosphere that inspires you. There's nothing perfect in this world, okay? There's hurricanes, there's snowstorms, there's tornadoes, there's floods, and you can pick any geographical location and there's going to be some downside. But for your individual fingerprint personality, you need to pick which has the most upside and limited downsides for you. Okay, not for your family, not for your friends, not for people who have an opinion about your life. Climate and weather play a big part in your encouragement, in your mental health, and physical health, and the way you look at life and the way you feel when you wake up and you see your surroundings. And when I wake up and when I see palm trees and when I see the sun and when I get the coastal vibes, and I'm encouraged. I still have bad days where I could hate life and where I could be, down and out, but I have more good days than bad days, and I'll take that. Okay, that's what life is, guys. Okay, nothing's perfect. And that's what I want to encourage you to go on a journey in your life. You may not know initially. You may need to travel. You definitely have to research. But I want to encourage you to downsize or to... I definitely always preach downsizing because I believe when you downsize, everyone has a different level of downsizing. You can see clearer on what you want to do in life. When your life is cluttered with stuff, even if you can afford the stuff, I believe that it clouds your vision. Okay? And you got to have a clear vision. Even though it's hard to make decisions, you could be indecisive. But downsizing is the first step to any journey in changing your life. I believe that. Okay, so if you don't know where to start, downsize. Okay, and as you downsize, the vision will get clearer. You'll be more flexible to make decisions because that's what you need. You need to be flexible to adapt. And when you have a lot of stuff, you're not flexible. Okay. So that's what I want to share with you. And I want to encourage you to go out there and seek your best life. Nothing's perfect. God's grace along your way. And again, keep good people around you. And if you can't find any good people, there's nothing wrong with walking a level of the journey alone. Never forget it.